just want to talk about death a little bit. My belief about death is that it is a transition, it is a gift, it is a graduation. And I'm not saying to go out and kill yourself so that you can have that gift or you can graduate. I am saying that a natural death is a divine gift. Not to say that suicide is, just a minute on suicide. Suicide is a personal choice, and just like pro-life, it's between that person and spirit, and it's really not yours to own. So if someone you love have committed suicide, just have faith in the divine purpose and send love and light to it and let go. I'm going to do a lot of videos on suicide, but this isn't one of them. So I don't fear my own death, and I don't fear the death of others. It's just another transition. I mourn people that are not in my life on and off, but if they're not on the planet and they weren't in my life anyway, I mean, it's not really a difference to my everyday life. My relationship to people is really kind of spiritual, even if they're in this plane, because I don't see them every day. You know, it's different if it's, a spouse or someone you see every day. You feel that loss, but also, when they leave, when they die, that's their divine choice, that's their divine plan. If you whine and cry and hold them back and say no and force different treatments on them and do all this stuff that's forcing them to either choose your love or their intuition, that's not really where I'm at. Okay, I believe that we live many lives. I believe that right now I'm incarnate in many different beings, possibly that dog over there barking at me, and birds and insects, and maybe in other people in the world or other people in the universe. I believe that my soul is vast and that I cannot comprehend it in my human body. I don't fear death, and when you don't fear death, then you can live life. It doesn't mean I'm fearless, like I'm going to jump off of a roof or I'm going to do crazy things. I'm always in my intuition of what's in my highest and best good and what I want to experience here on earth. And I don't really want to experience being paralyzed. I don't want to experience having no arm, and so I don't choose that. But I don't fear dying. And my loved ones, you know, some people do criticize me for my belief in death, which is interesting because I just, turn that over to God too. I, I, I believe that death is a part of life because, for one, that's a fact. Everybody dies, and it's between them and God, between them and Goddess, the Holy Spirit. And it's not for me to whine and cry and hold them back. It's for me to honor their choices and honor their experience, and to give them, I think my eyes are a little dark, but that's all right. That'll just give you a little bit more perspective into, the whole death topic. Again, as I was saying, I do get criticized for not, like, being more upset about death. I remember my first breakup, and I was sick and barfing for days, and I was just in so much pain, and then really breakups on and off until I was 40. And then after that, I started coming to this other level of going, well, wow, because breakups are a death, divorce is a death. When your people that you love don't approve of you, and they remove you from your life, and they remove themselves from your life, and they don't really want to talk about your spirituality, anything about your life, but they still want your unconditional love, and if they're dying, they want you to be there, and it's all this human drama, and it's not about faith, it's not about your relationship to God, okay? Their relationship to death is theirs, okay? It's not up to me to judge anyone else's relationship with death, and it's not up to me to use their death as an excuse for me to not own the responsibility of my own frequency at this moment. I had a friend tell me once, turns out it's a Mother Jones saying, but that to say a prayer for the living, fight like, scratch that. Say a prayer for the dead and fight like hell for the living. I'm here to hold a frequency. I'm here to be alive, and I'm not here to mourn death. Okay, now as a light worker, I have felt a lot of negative things over the decades, and I have mourned, and I have been empathic, and in this moment, I am not. Okay, I believe that every single disease, every single treatment, every person who gets well or gets sick is a personal choice. on the level of thoughts and what they experience. And yes, I do get criticized for that. However, we are spiritual beings, we are light beings here incarnate, and we are here to experience something that's a higher vibration than mourning death. I mean, if you spend all day mourning the fact that we breathe oxygen, I mean, you don't do anything, right? You're not going to have kids, you're not going to learn anything, you're not going to have any joy, any awesome sexual experiences, any awesome beauty or experiences in nature. You're not going to have any of that because you're going to spend all day mourning breath. I'm using breath as an example. Or all day mourning the fact that you have a foot or something. The example I'm trying to make, feebly, it seems like, is that you're mourning a natural process. Death is as natural process as life and is as breathing air, and it is to take someone's death and then use the rest of your life to mourn their death. That was their choice. If they died in childbirth, that was their choice. Respect God and respect them enough to let go of that, and don't use it as a reason to not hold a higher vibration and frequency here. When you continue mourning someone else's death before they've died, after they've died, spend your whole life mourning their death, in a way you're trying to control them. You're trying to control whether they died because you want to feel better. They wouldn't have died if it hadn't been something they chose. It was what they chose to experience. So in order to have respect for the Holy Spirit and for your own divinity, you have to respect death and not let it kill you. Oh. I know how that meant. Okay, I know what I meant. Death is going to kill you, sorry. But I mean kill your life spirit. Kill your frequency, your vibrancy for life, your joy for life, okay? Death is as part of life as everything else. So just continue on, move on. Yes, horrific things happen, but, get right with God, with Goddess. You sit down, if you see somebody die, something weird happening, do a prayer, bring in the angels, bring in the light, and heal the energy the best you can and move on. Don't hold it in yourself, mourning all of these deaths. There's been so many of them that if we mourn every single death, even the ones closest to us, we're not going to be able to vibrate as high as Spirit wants us to vibrate here. And by Spirit, I mean our self, our higher self. We are Spirit, we are God, we are Goddess, we are divinity, we are Prime Creator, okay? So if you imagine death as being a magical transition, it is. You can still see that person, right? You can still feel them around you. You can even touch them in your dreams. You could probably travel to them, right? Astral travel to them. They still exist. Okay, so this is how I believe about death, and I am not afraid of those closest to me dying, being pain-free and moving on, and they'll probably be reborn here if they choose to. It's all in the hands of the Great Spirit, the Prime Creator, which is that person, their soul, and the Holy Spirit that works with them to co-create. It's none of my business. I can only own my reaction to it, and if I spend every day worried about whether someone else is going to die or not, well, they're going to die. So they're either going to die tomorrow, 10 years from now, 100 years from now. If I have complete faith in their spiritual belief, in their interaction with God and with Goddess, and complete faith in the whole system of things, and own my responsibility, my feeling for death, and my choosing of my reality, then I really don't mourn their death. Yeah, I might be sad that I'm never going to see him again, but I don't really believe that that's true. So, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect or that I'm not human in these things. I definitely get sad. I have family members who might possibly be dying now. I've had many that have died. I also don't believe family is just blood, so death is just a part of life, and oftentimes people mourn being alive more than they mourn dying. It's pretty hard here on Mother Earth sometimes to just keep going and not want death. I've been there many times myself, but at this point, I am here to hold the frequency of light and to imagine new possibilities in this reality, and I'm not here to mourn death. God just bless you all.